Welcome back to AI Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today we are having the AI review Assassin's Creed Shadows, 4 times ranging from loving it to hating it. I have played a lot of the Assassin's Creed franchise and am fully aware that the more recent games have been questionable to say the least, but I am going to give it a shot all the same. But let's see what the AI thinks.
Assassin's Creed Shadows? More like Assassin's Creed Shallows. This latest installment in the franchise takes us to 16th century Japan, a setting ripe for deep storytelling and complex characters. Instead, Ubisoft Quebec delivers a narrative that's about as deep as a puddle in the streets of Edo. The game's attempt to explore the rich tapestry of feudal Japan is utterly botched by its poorly developed characters and a storyline that fails to engage or innovate. Let's start with the protagonists, Neo and Yasuke, who could have been standout additions to the Assassin's Creed legacy. The idea of playing as a shinobi and an African samurai in the Sengoku period is fascinating on paper. However, the execution is a narrative disaster. Both characters are so underdeveloped they feel like afterthoughts in their own story. Neo is your cookie-cutter assassin with as much personality as a katana blade, cool to look at but ultimately just a tool. Yasuke should be a groundbreaking character, but instead, his backstory is glossed over, and his motivations are as thinly written as rice paper. The interaction between these two should have been the driving force of the game, an opportunity to dive deep into their psyches and develop a rapport that adds layers to the gameplay. Instead, their relationship is as compelling as a lecture on rice farming techniques in ancient Japan. The dialogue between them is stilted, filled with cliched lines that do nothing to enhance their connection or develop their individual arcs. It's like the writers just checked off boxes on a diversity form and called it a day without bothering to make these characters real people. And don't get me started on the villains. The Templars in this game are as forgettable as the NPCs that populate the towns and villages. They're just generic bad guys without any real menace or depth, and their confrontations with Neo and Yasuke lack any real tension or excitement. It's all just going through the motions, the same old stop the bad guys plot that we've seen 1,000 times before, but this time with less flair or involvement. Even more frustrating is the way the game squanders its setting. Feudal Japan, a period teeming with intrigue, warfare, and cultural richness, is reduced to nothing more than a pretty backdrop. The historical figures and events that could have been woven into the narrative to create a rich tapestry of stories are instead used as mere window dressing. The game fails to capitalize on its environment, making you feel more like a tourist than a participant in one of the most fascinating periods of history. In conclusion, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a monumental letdown. It had all the ingredients to be a profound exploration of an intriguing era with unique protagonists but ended up being a shallow, uninspired addition to the franchise. The characters are flat, the plot is uninspired, and the overall execution feels like a missed opportunity. Ubisoft really dropped the ball on this one, and for a series that prides itself on diving deep into history, this entry barely scratches the surface.
Assassin's Creed Shadows sets its ambitions high, aiming to immerse players in the richly textured world of 16th century Japan through the intertwined stories of Neo, a shinobi, and Yasuke, an African samurai. While the setting and concept promise a groundbreaking entry into the Assassin's Creed series, the execution of the narrative leaves much to be desired, with significant storytelling pitfalls that detract from the game's potential impact. At the heart of my critique is the game's central narrative, which, despite its intriguing setup, fails to deliver a coherent and engaging story. The dual protagonist approach, while innovative in theory, is handled clumsily, leading to a fragmented plot that struggles to maintain momentum or develop the characters fully. Neo and Yasuke are compelling characters in their own right but are often underserved by shallow writing and a lack of meaningful character development. The narrative jumps between their stories with little finesse, making it challenging to form a consistent connection with either character. The overarching storyline, which should weave the rich tapestry of feudal Japan into the ongoing assassin versus Templar conflict, instead feels like it's going through the motions. The historical setting, brimming with potential for deep political intrigue and cultural exploration, is reduced to a mere backdrop for the same recycled conflict. The result is a story that feels both historically superficial and creatively stagnant, failing to leverage its unique setting beyond surface-level aesthetics. Moreover, the dialogue often comes off as stilted and expository, lacking the subtlety and nuance needed to bring such a historically and emotionally complex setting to life. Instead of showing us the world through interactions and events, much of the game's plot is told via awkward exposition dumps that break the immersion and make the narrative feel forced. The game's attempt to integrate supernatural elements into the historical narrative, an Assassin's Creed hallmark, also misses the mark this time around. These elements are introduced haphazardly, without enough context or integration into the main story, making them feel more like an obligatory nod to franchise traditions rather than meaningful additions to the story. This lack of integration speaks to a larger issue with the game's narrative structure, which often prioritizes franchise consistency over story coherence. Despite these narrative shortcomings, Assassin's Creed Shadows does excel in other areas, such as its visually stunning recreation of Japan and its fluid combat mechanics. However, these aspects are overshadowed by the story's inability to engage or innovate. For a franchise known for its rich historical storytelling, this entry feels like a step back, content to rely on familiar formulas rather than fully embrace the possibilities offered by its unique setting and characters. In conclusion, while Assassin's Creed Shadows could have been a groundbreaking exploration of feudal Japan and its complex historical dynamics, it ultimately fails to deliver a compelling narrative. Fans of the series and history enthusiasts alike may find the game's superficial treatment of its setting and characters a significant letdown, making it a missed opportunity in a series that has, at times, masterfully blended history with fiction.
Assassin's Creed Shadows sweeps players away to the visually stunning landscapes of 16th century Japan, an era ripe with conflict and intrigue, perfect for the Assassin's Creed franchise. Ubisoft Quebec has certainly nailed the ambience and historical authenticity that fans have come to expect. However, while the main narrative and visuals score high, the game's side content, including side quests and minigames, often feels like an afterthought, diluting the overall experience with uneven quality. First, let's talk about what works. The main storyline of Assassin's Creed Shadows is compelling and well executed, with the dual protagonist approach allowing for a rich narrative exploration from two culturally and stylistically different perspectives. Neo and Yasuke are fascinating characters whose backgrounds offer a fresh lens through which to experience the tumultuous Sengoku period. The primary missions are where the game shines, delivering the thrilling, stealth-based gameplay and complex character interactions that fans adore. However, when venturing off the beaten path, the game starts to show its cracks. Side quests, which should add depth and intrigue to the world, often feel repetitive and disconnected from the central storyline. While some side missions do a decent job of fleshing out the world and its inhabitants, too many feel like cookie-cutter tasks. Fetch this, eavesdrop on that conversation, assassinate this other character without any meaningful context or narrative impact. These missions can become tedious and detract from the immersive experience that the main game works so hard to build. The mini-games, typically a highlight in many RPGs for providing a fun diversion, also miss the mark. Traditional activities like shogi or Japanese fishing could have been opportunities to deeply immerse players in the period's culture. Instead, these games come across as simplistic and lack the depth or challenge that might keep players engaged. They feel like they were included as an afterthought, merely ticking a box for cultural authenticity without truly integrating into the fabric of the game. Another aspect where Assassin's Creed Shadows stumbles is in its economic and crafting systems. These systems are unnecessarily complicated and poorly explained, leading to confusion and frustration. The interface for these systems is clunky, making what should be a straightforward process feel like a chore. This complexity without clarity seems to be a recurring theme in the side content, where the potential for educational and engaging gameplay is lost in poorly implemented mechanics. In conclusion, Assassin's Creed Shadows delivers a strong main quest and stunning environments that are a joy to explore, but is let down by the lackluster execution of its side content. The side quests and minigames fail to live up to the quality of the rest of the game, often feeling like mundane, obligatory additions rather than meaningful extensions of the game world. For players seeking a deep dive into feudal Japan with engaging distractions along the way, this game might leave them wanting. While the visual and historical fidelity is impressive, the overall package is a mixed bag, worthy of praise for its ambitions but criticism for its scope.
Oh my stars, Assassin's Creed Shadows is absolutely stunning. As a devoted fan of the Assassin's Creed series, I've journeyed through many epics and lands with Ubisoft's time-traveling assassins, but nothing quite prepared me for the sheer visual splendor of 16th century Japan, as beautifully rendered in this latest installment. From the moment you step into the shoes of Neo, the adept shinobi, and Yasuke, the formidable African samurai, you're immersed in a world so vibrant and meticulously detailed that it feels like stepping into a living, breathing painting. Ubisoft Quebec has truly outdone themselves with the graphics in this game, crafting environments that are not only gorgeous to look at, but also teem with life and historical authenticity. The landscapes of feudal Japan are rendered with such precision and artistry that every village, forest, and temple feels distinct. The game's dynamic weather system adds a layer of immersion that is simply breathtaking. One moment you're sneaking through a moonlit forest, the shadows of the trees dancing quietly around you, and the next, you're witnessing the golden hues of a sunrise that gently illuminates the misty mountains in the distance. The attention to lighting and shadow creates a world that feels alive and reactive, enhancing the stealth gameplay that the series is known for. The character models are another high point, with Neo and Yasuke both showcasing an incredible level of detail in their animations and attire. The fluidity of their movements during combat sequences is a joy to behold, capturing the grace and lethality of a shinobi and samurai with every slice of the katana or silent takedown. The armor and clothing not only reflect the era's style but also bear intricate designs that tell stories of their own, from the symbolism in the samurai's armor to the functional elegance of the shinobi's garb. Ubisoft's decision to use photorealistic textures brings Assassin's Creed Shadows to a new level of graphic fidelity. The textures of wood, stone, and fabric are so lifelike that you can almost feel the roughness of a temple's wooden pillars or the smoothness of silk kimonos. This realism extends to the bustling marketplaces and serene Zen gardens, each brimming with activity and detail that draw you deeper into the world. Even the NPCs contribute to this rich tapestry, each modeled and animated to reflect the diverse populace of feudal Japan. The interactions with these characters are not just transactional, but are an integral part of experiencing the culture and turmoil of the era. This attention to detail ensures that every mission and side quest is not just a challenge but a story unfolding within a fully realized world. In conclusion, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a masterpiece of visual and interactive design. It's not just a game. It's a journey through history, a dive into the heart of feudal Japan that's as educational as it is enthralling. The graphics are not just beautiful, they're transformative, enhancing every aspect of the game from stealth mechanics to narrative immersion. If you're a fan of the series or a newcomer looking to explore a breathtakingly beautiful virtual world, Assassin's Creed Shadows is an adventure that cannot be missed. Bravo, Ubisoft, for creating a visual feast that will be remembered for years to come.
Thank you so much for watching. Like always, if you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment for more videos like this, including my review of Assassin's Creed Shadows after it comes out. I tend to have 2 videos out per week, AI reviews like this or real reviews. Until next time.